Greetings, YouTube. As some of you may have seen, this screenshot appeared in my latest video, before this one a couple hours ago, shouting out the best pulls from summoners across the globe for Super-Skrull. But the question is that came into the channel actually more than the submission count. Prof, how good is Super-Skrull? Well, I don't know because I don't have him yet. But some of you do, including Mr. Evan's daddy, who was kind enough to explore the most common test, and that is what we've been doing even with 3 stars way back when, and that is are they God tier, middle tier, or Captain Pillow Hands tier. We've got Super-Skrull, Iron Fist, Doctor Doom, Human Torch, and Thing as the synergies of this gameplay video. And Super-Skrull does have a couple of interesting synergies, so you'll see that he's got Hostile Takeover. Each time you activate a Fury buff, there is a 100% chance to place an armor break on the opponent lasting 4 seconds, reducing armor by 150. I would love this if it was more than 4 seconds. I just feel like 4 seconds goes by so fast that by the time you have a chance to hit, especially if you're fighting somebody who maybe has longer animations or just kind of awkward mechanics, you're not going to have the Fury anymore. And then we've got Love the Wedding Crasher name with Doom. Start the fight with a Vigilance buff, which prevents their attacks from missing and lasts 15 seconds. Herbie is another one. Okay, so let's jump right in. Just to give you a heads up, I had another summoner that I asked what his impressions were, besides Evan's daddy, of his new 6-star Super-Skrull, and it sounded like he thought that it was an insult to the words pillow hands or even wet noodle to compare him. You can see he's starting out hitting for 900 or even the crits at 1300 or 2400, which are numbers that, like, beyond God tier 3 stars and certainly 4 stars at least rank 3 or 4 would put up. So, you know, right off the bat, and yes, he's unawakened, right? And so who knows? Maybe this would improve heavily with an awakened ability. But you see the armor break, and that's nice, but it just goes by so fast. By the time the animation is done from Winter Soldier, all those armor breaks have basically timed themselves out of Winter Soldier. And so, yeah, you want to stack Furies and armor breaks, but you want to do it in a way that lasts for, I don't know, at least 10 seconds. Now we've got the Special 3, even with a plus 20% bonus. It looks beautiful, right? Like Kabam's animators always do an incredible job, even if the champion's not great. He's got a stun, sort of like the armor break complete. It's not the fastest stun. If he could kind of refresh the stun, that would be better. But you're just seeing numbers. Like, I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, like, if you were to just cover the star rating of this champion and just solely based off of the damage have to guess if it was a 6, 5, 4, or 3-star champion, I would guess a lot of people maybe would guess 4-star, but even some might guess 3-star. So remember when Ebony Coleslaw first came out and it was a 6-star that hit like a 3-star? Well, this is kind of what this reminds me of. And that's very disappointing because, of course, they want people to buy these crystals when they come into the unit acquisition opportunity next Thursday when you don't have to pay cash for them. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully time will tell that this guy has major utility and will make up for the fact that he hits like a 3-star. But right now, I'm more impressed with this 4-star Winter Soldier than I am this 6-star Super-Skrull. You just look at those numbers. It's like, is something broken? And yay for incinerate damage, but you compare that to even like MODOK's heavy. And we're not saying MODOK is a god tier heavy attacker, but comparatively, I don't know. He's finally stacking some debuffs, but it's such low numbers, you know? Like, I really don't understand how this could be a 6-star even at rank 1. So yeah, there we go, stacking the incinerates, but look how fast they are expiring. If I was to rework this champion with the same mechanics, I would just have a lot of the utility advantages of him from the incinerates to the armor breaks last 2 to 3 times as long, even unawakened. That would give you at least some fun basic gameplay. Compare this to like the shock damage you can use with Black Widow Deadly Origin. That's kind of a fun benchmark, and I don't think most people would put her in the God tier category, although for certain paths and nodes she can be. But she's just fun to play. Even like OG Black Panther pre when the buff is supposed to happen. I'm very excited about that buff this year. Still stacking bleeds, and having them, especially if you've got deep wounds close to maxed out, having them, extend to a pretty good period of time. But you're seeing, it's kind of painful to watch. And I really do appreciate Evan's daddy sitting on the gameplay. I'm not saying your gameplay is painful to watch because you're doing the best you can, but it's so many hits for so little damage that I sincerely don't know how Kabam thought, well, this is a good idea to hype up this champion. I do want to say this. When it comes to like newer champions, outside of maybe Strife and like Apocalypse or Doctor Doom, most champions that get released in the game now are not, although this may be pushing it for this champion, are not so bad that they're like the worst, but they're also not amazing, because I do believe Kabam is so worried that that they're going to put out a champion that's too OP and that they're not going to catch and that they're going to have to rebalance, because it's been a while since they had to do that. It's one thing to improve an older champion, which they've been doing well, especially somebody like Kingpin, but to actually make a new champion worse that you spent a lot of money thinking you were getting a certain product and the product was made worse, that is really unacceptable and inexcusable. And so I think they recognize this, and so the safe thing to do is to just make most of the new champs just kind of middle of the pack, and maybe you'll buff them later, like, say, Mole Man. But at the same time, it's better to be in a position where you make them a little too weak, where you can get people excited about buffing them, than make them too OP to the point that you have to tune them down. So that seems to be the thought process for Kabam, but it really does suffer when you have a champion like this that just is not really someone that I would even be excited with these gameplay skills or lack thereof for this champion output to use in the arena, right? Like, most champions you use, if you're an arena person, that's when you use them, in the arena, because you can only bring 5 max into questing, and of course, offensively, you can only bring 3 into war and alliance quest. So we've got 5 Furies, energy vulnerability, still looks like a 3 to 4 star damage, 500 per tick. I just look at that and think, with 5 Furies, that's the damage? Really? So how many hits does it take to get this guy down? Well, we are going to skip ahead because I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. We are now at the end of this, and yes, it's far from a perfect fight. He has lost about 60% of health, but finally, with the assassin mastery as well, it took him, is it going to show? Oh, let's just say it was hundreds of hits. He's probably just so fed up, he's like, I don't even care. Well, a 6-star that hits like a 3-star. Kabam, you've got some explaining to do. Who knows? Maybe his awaken ability is the greatest thing ever and makes him just as OP as a 6-star can be, but I highly doubt that. And outside of that, and of course, even if that was the case, you'd need a lot of 6 stones, and those things are so rare. 6-star 6 stones are more rare than ever, because as we have a chance to take 6 stars eventually to rank 4, they actually gain in value. They don't decrease. So it's a crazy economy of the game that we're in right now. Thanks again to Evan's daddy for the gameplay. What are your thoughts on this? Super-Skrull? More like super dud.